Welcome to episode 2 of the PMCC podcast series, Future of Project Management, where we invite industry professionals to share their knowledge and insights on their view on the future of project management. And in return, we can learn how to stay relevant in the field and above all, excel in our project management roles. Today, we are very honored to have Erika Zechner with us to talk about emotional intelligence in project management. Leadership and emotional intelligence are of paramount importance to leading a project team, as well as communicating with stakeholders. It can be the key to project success. Erika is a leadership performance coach and cross-cultural consultant at Blueprint 5 Consulting. She has amassed 18 years of experience in helping leaders be at their best and has consulted clients that range from key leading global manufacturers, financial services, IT, and oil and gas sectors. She is a master practitioner of NLP coaching and holds qualifications in Hogan Leadership Forecast, profiling, brain spotting, and more. So in today's episode, we will be going over the following topics, which will be also time-stamped. What is emotional intelligence? Mistakes to avoid that reflect the lack of emotional intelligence, tools to improve or train emotional intelligence, and the taboo of showing your emotions in the workplace. So starting off with our very first question, what is emotional intelligence and what are the characteristics of someone who is emotionally intelligent?
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Carmen. It's quite exciting actually doing this with you, this podcast. So thank you for that introduction and question. So the definition of emotional intelligence is the ability for anybody to regulate their emotions. That's the first key, to be able to understand your emotions, be able to regulate them. With that, you're able then to build better relationships, be a better leader, be a better mother, be a better project manager. The second part of emotional intelligence, once you've got your own self-awareness, is the ability to recognize and understand the emotion in other people and also to be able to influence their emotions. So there are many aspects to emotional intelligence. So that's the definition. The first word that usually is used to describe emotional intelligent people is charisma. They're the sort of, they walk into a room or into an office, there's something different about them. They have this quiet self-confidence about them. They have a high level of self-awareness. They have a high level awareness of how to read the room, how to read different personalities, how to read body language. So the word charisma really sums up somebody who has emotional intelligence. And to get charisma takes quite a lot of self-reflection and self-awareness.
Following up from that question, in your experience of working with key leaders, what are the most common mistakes that people can make that can negatively impact the organization, be it team morale or even overall performance of the department, because they lack certain emotional intelligence skills?
Yeah. So before I go into the biggest mistakes, I just want to backtrack a little bit. If you think about our education system, we're taught everything about maths, science, we're taught everything about language, but we're never ever given any lessons, or in my time at least, we're never given any lessons about understanding ourselves, understanding our strengths, understanding why we get upset when we get upset. So the biggest mistake, I would say, and it's not anybody's fault, is that we're not educated early enough. So leaders don't have that education. And the second mistake is that leaders who don't have emotional intelligence usually lead from a place of ego, which is a place of self. Just I need to be successful. I need to be recognized. So that's the biggest mistake that leaders do. And often leaders fall into this ego kind of leadership when they're under pressure. Okay, so either when they're under pressure, when they're bored, or when they're stretched beyond their limit, they fall back onto what we call coping mechanisms. Okay, now coping mechanisms in themselves are fine. They're actually strengths. And I'm a Hogan leadership profile, and we spend quite a bit of time on leadership strengths, but also on the leadership shadow, the shadow side of leadership, which is the dark side of leadership. This is where leaders go when they're trying to cope with everything that they're handling, and it just goes overboard. They overuse a certain strength. For example, in the Hogan profile, there's a strength called boldness. And to be bold is to be courageous, be a risk taker. Just take any project on, no matter how complicated, and just run with it. So it's a strength. But if a leader comes from a place of ego, that boldness slowly turns into arrogance. In other words, that courageous, go-getting attitude becomes, I am the only one who can do this, therefore I take over the whole project. I put other people down by shouting at them. So you can see how it can get taken to an extreme, and then it's no longer a strength.
So moving on to our next question, what are the tools or the steps that we can take to improve our emotional intelligence?
So it's a brilliant question. And this is the bit that takes the most time. Yes. How do we manage our ego? And how do we manage to get out of this, sometimes these messy places we get into with our emotions? So I would like to, Lao Tzu once said, and I have to really remember this quote well. He said, watch thoughts because they become your words. Yeah. Watch your words, they become your actions. And watch your actions because they become your habits. And watch your habits because they become your character. And watch your character because it becomes your destiny. So this beautifully encapsulates what it is each one of us needs to do in order to become more self-aware, more emotional intelligent. It all starts with the thoughts. This ability to sit still and discover inside of you who you actually are and what are your thoughts. So there's a gentleman, Jonathan Haidt, he wrote a great book, The Happiness Hypothesis. And he often talks about the elephant and the rider. Yeah. So the rider is us, our conscious mind. The elephant is all of our emotions. And so he says the way forward is for the rider to sit on the elephant and to ride the elephant, rather than the elephant controlling the whole scene each time. And the only way to do that is to slow down, go inside, introspection, reflection, and to start to understand yourself better, start to understand your own thoughts. We need a certain amount of stillness, an ability to sit with ourselves and really understand ourselves. Because only then, once we understand ourselves, can we understand others better. And once we understand ourselves, we can stand under our emotions, rather than let our emotions continually rule our lives.
From your point of view, is it always advisable to show your emotions at work? And if it is not, how can we properly show our emotions without negatively impacting the other person or worsening the situation?
Another brilliant question. So you're right, the professional landscape is not ready for people to share their authentic selves. Yeah, so there is no real room yet, in the corporate world, in high caliber workforces, for people to show their emotions. Therefore, I would say the best way forward is, before you even start showing emotions at work, people need to work with a professional to first start to understand themselves better. So there are many coaches out there that do different coaching. There's emotional intelligence coaches, there are leadership coaches. My first advice would be to work with such a professional to get a deeper understanding of yourself first. Because once you've got a deeper understanding of yourself, some of those initial emotions will disappear. Yeah, because some of the initial emotions are just your training, your culture, how you were brought up, how your school handled you, or maybe an experience you had with a particular teacher. All of these memories and experiences have somehow brought on layers and layers on who you really are. Yeah, so without uncovering those layers, you might have so many different emotions that don't actually belong there anymore. There's something from the past, or there's something that you were taught but doesn't really fit in anymore with who you are. So a professional can help individuals peel away those layers, get rid of some of those emotions, work through some of those emotions that are not needed anymore, and then come to a certain point where, okay, in this particular project with this particular team member, let's look at what needs to happen here around emotions. What sort of conversation needs to happen here? So we can start fine-tuning, specifically what emotions need to be shown and how, but only once those first layers have been peeled away, okay? Giving people a better chance to show up in the world from a more authentic place, from who they really are, with a deeper understanding of who they are. There's also a big feeling, especially in large corporations in the cities, that people are disconnected. People are supposed to stand on their own. And there's a lot of loneliness. There's a lot of, I would call it disconnection. And by working with a professional, you can start to peel away some of that as well, and actually see that as humans, we are all the same. We all want the same things. We all are trying our best with what we've got. And when you have that sort of connection, you're able to relate with your project leaders, with your teams, with anybody in a much different place. So there's something also about connection that can help emotional intelligence and help how people relate with one another.
A quick recap on the episode for our listeners. Erika has shared with us today, emotional intelligence is the ability to understand and regulate our own emotions. Then we can understand and influence other people's emotions. And secondly, our ego is the enemy of emotional intelligence. And thirdly, the key to harnessing emotional intelligence is actually self-awareness and self-reflection.
Yes, thank you so much. Beautifully summarized. And I would just like to summarize right at the end. There are people out there, professionals, to help people with emotional intelligence. There's no need to struggle through it alone, because it can be quite a complicated area, even though it's your own emotions, even though it's yourself. There are people out there trained with different tools who can, within 2 or 3 sessions, really help you understand yourself better. And that's a good place to start. So thank you, Carmen. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share some of these things with your audience. Thank you.
Thank you so much too, and for joining us, as well as giving us your time and also sharing your knowledge with us. And also thank you to our audience for tuning in. If you have any questions or comments for Erika, feel free to leave your messages in the comments or connect with Erika on LinkedIn. We will have her profile linked in the description.
PMCC offers project management consulting services for sectors such as energy, building and properties, technology and communications, transportation, and manufacturing. For more information about our services and to contact us, visit our website www.pmcc-corporation.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for future episodes. We will see you in the next one.